are rideshare companies charging passengers enough to pay
Nope.
drivers fairly?
Nope.
And we all know they're not paying drivers fairly, but could they really actually charge more to passengers? And the answer is, yeah, they could. Let's
Way
take a
more.
look at this.
Yeah. So another driver from Inland Empire, which is east of me, said, why don't we do a little comparison when it comes to what cabs charge for the same trip in LA County. I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's play the game, right? But then I said, make sure that you attach what Uber charged the passenger for that as well, so we can do it too.
We have our three people. We have Jared, Laura, and Mohammed. So thank you very much. Please stay on. We will get to you guys right after this segment, but we have our three people already. Okay.
All right. So we have our three. Okay. So on this one, all we did was, pick a trip that he concluded on the Uber platform. So 15.9 miles, 21 minutes for $17 upfront fare. Pretty simple. This is obviously period 3. So that's cabs don't get paid to get to your location. Cabs start the meter after you get in the car, which is perfect for this. This is not a pink screen. This is just after the trip finished. So in LA County, the rates on yellow cab, which is the one in the middle screenshot, is $3.10 for the first 1/9 of a mile, right? There is also a drop fee. But then in average, it comes to about $2.70 a mile. That's what cabs charge in LA. Okay. So for a similar trip, regulated cab fare on this would have been $17.09 for Uber, $46.03 for the cab. That's pretty freaking wide, right?
Yeah.
But then I wanted to know what Uber actually charged the passenger by looking at the receipt. And here it is on the right-hand side. Uber, in their wisdom, their algorithm, charged $24.97 for this trip. And after all the shenanigans, Uber ended up losing $2 and something, 24 cents, whatever. I'm going like, so Uber, I don't think you're charging enough. Now, if you had charged like 35, still less than a cab, and you could have paid us a little bit more, right?
I think you could have paid, if they're doing $24.97, they're upping it to $35. That $10, I think, should go to the driver. So instead of $17.09, it should be $27.09.
Yeah, but I'm saying the discrepancy is so wide, so nuts to me, that a cab charges $46 for a trip that Uber charges 25. Look, half of cabs is not good enough. You could push your luck, Uber, to maybe 3/4 of what a cab charges in LA. Everybody will still use it. I don't think anybody will fall off the platform. You know what I mean? And that way you can pay the driver a little bit more. How about that? And you can probably make more money. I get it. There's Lyft, the pesky Lyft that's sticking around. The guy's going to compete. But the next trip, another one. And I'm like, okay, this one is worse for the driver. 19.6 miles, 22 minutes. A regulated cab fare on this would have been $56 before the tip, $56.02. And I go like, okay, that's not good. That's like a third of what a cab would be that we're getting paid. But again, I go, let's look at the Uber's receipt on this, what they charge. What is that, Chris? 26 something, 28 something,
28.34, and the customer paid after the promotion $24.34. So they paid
the cab would have been 56,
half the price of the cab.
Exactly, that's what they're doing, half the price of a cab, and then paying the driver the zilch. And on this trip, again, people go, oh, Uber takes 50%, Uber takes 90%. We're going to put that to sleep next week, people. We're going to have like some hell of a discussion next week about Uber's take rates and what they are, because everybody goes 50%, 80%. I'm like, Uber lost money on this one too. They lost $1.37. They lost $2 on the first one. They lost $1.37 on this one. Okay, next one. And this one is the screamer because it's a long ass trip. So 47 minutes, 25.3 miles. The driver ended up getting 25.86 in a cab that would have been 71.41. Again, a third, right? It's always like a third or a quarter of what a cab is charging that the driver is getting paid. But on this one, again, Uber charged 36 some change, 36.12 or 38, whatever it is.
35.18.
35, exactly half. You see this, Chris? It's always like half what cabs are charging, pretty much. Yep. All the rates. Uber, feel free, charge more and pay a little bit more. That's the only way this is going to work out. Because on this one, after all the shenanigans, Uber lost money on this trip too. 3 trips, 3 times Uber lost money. Where's the 50%? Because they're not charging enough.
Let's raise the rates a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly you can. People are going to pay for it. I mean, we see in Seattle and Washington all the time, that's what's going to happen. They're still using Uber and Lyft services.
I like that comment. Wa'il tawil. I don't either, but a lot of people do. Like Jonah does. Jonah, you have to come back next week, buddy. Okay? Next week, we're going to really discuss this subject. And I do get the math. I'm reasonably good at math. And well, we're going to figure that out next week. Open it to a wide open discussion with the audience. Let's see what everybody thinks, because we need to settle
now
this.
here's my biggest question. So Uber has always fought the taxi cab companies since its inception until recently, where now you can order an Uber and you could get a taxi cab. But here's the question that I want to know. How are you going to pay Uber rates and get Uber rates to a taxi cab? How does that work, Serge?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm baffled that when Uber does this, I get the initial push when they did kill Chris to kill all the cabs. I get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I get. But now I think game is over with the cabs. In fact, they're even putting the cabs back on the system. You know, I'm like, why aren't you charging more and paying us more? I mean, I'm not getting this, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, and it easily can be done. Why is there a race to the bottom? I mean, that shows you, I mean, half the price of a cab, what the customer pays, and I mean, each one of those 3 is about a third of what the driver would make compared to a taxi cab driver.
Yep.
So
And cabs are not getting UFF, by the way, Professor. They're getting better rates than X, because no cabbie, after you seeing those screenshots, no cabbie is going to go do a 25-mile trip for $25.
oh hell no, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, Uber, here's an idea, you know, charge a little bit more. Instead of 35, charge 45. Still not even 3/4 of the cab. And I'm like, hey, I think we're good, and pay, but make sure you pay us more, not your pocket. We can even
this is what I think. Let's even just do it that way. Instead of the customer paying half the price of a cab, bring it to 2/3 of what they're paying. So 66%, and then pay the driver close to 50% of what the cab driver's making. I think that would be a little bit better. I mean,
I think so.
I think that's more doable. What do you guys think? Put in the comments what your guys' thoughts are when it comes to a comparison like that. Where do you think these things should be?
Everybody eat, right? I mean, hey, I'm not against it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's the way it should be. Things should be going up. Progressively, they're not. They're going down. So that's the problem. And that is why we need to become a little better at cherry picking, waiting for the right rides to come in, not the wrong rides. All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.